WFM 91.7.
Good morning. It is 6 minutes past 9 on your Women Radio 91.7, and you're welcome on Panorama. Panorama is where we have the ladies from different geopolitical zones come together to discuss, dissect, and disagree on topical issues. Panorama is broadcast Mondays through Fridays at 5 minutes past 9. My name is Esther Alaribi, and I really hope that you're getting on with the day and your day is coming off as productive as planned, because my day is starting off just right and in the right frame of mind as well. Yes, you definitely need that. Like we mentioned on the newspaper review this morning, that regardless of whatever it is that's going on around you, if from the inside you tell yourself that you're going to keep a positive mindset, it's going to reflect in how you get to do things, how you get to engage people, regardless of whatever is going on around you, because everything that comes from the inside, it has a way of just projecting or measuring the level of what you get to put out. So you have to be mindful of the words that you speak, your actions that you take, even your inactions as well. Yes, sometimes the things that you do not say or you do not do, they kind of have a way at which they either impact your own life or the lives of people around you. On that note, we have our guest joining us this morning, one of the Panorama ladies, as you know, Buki FA. Good morning, Buki. How are you doing today?
Yes, Buki FA is doing great. I just want to thank God, because it can only be God. So good morning, our dear Panorama family, anywhere on the surface of the earth. We say good morning. And as Ibn Abba will always say, our dear esteemed listeners, So I want to say good morning. And Esther, to you and your crew, Happiness Minister.
Yes, oh.
Share the love around. Today is Monday.
Mm-hmm. It's a new week. Being optimistic and looking forward to everything that it brings. Thank you so much, Buki, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so we go into the conversations today. On Saturday, 28th October 2023, I was just in the house when I started seeing different reports that Chief Mrs. Alaba Lawson has passed on. I had to go to different newspapers, go to different platforms to be sure that this news actually was credible and it wasn't just somebody picking up something. Alas, it was true. And you're probably wondering, who is Chief Mrs. Alaba Lawson? I'll tell you. A Nigerian businesswoman, an entrepreneur, an educationist. She served as the first female president of NASIMA, and she was the chairman of the board of the governing council of Moshood Abiola Polytechnic in Ogun State. More reports on this one. The Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun has also given words out that there's going to be a committee that is going to be set up to plan a state befitting burial for Chief Mrs. Alaba Lawson. Reading about this woman, you can tell that this is somebody who actually gave back to the society. She gave back to the society. She impacted lives in different ways. And when we talk about the need to celebrate women, Yalo Di Alaba Lawson, though she has passed on, but different people at different points in their lives who have come in contact with her will definitely have something to say about how she impacted them, about how she stood in different capacities for them. I have seen a lot of comments, tributes from different angles, different people talking about how she impacted their lives and how they are better off for it. Different organizations that she was a member of the board, non-executive member, and all of that. You can tell that she brought value on board everywhere that she was. So this is a life worth celebrating, even though she has passed on. And her legacy definitely will live for years and years after her, Buki.
Oh, definitely. We commiserate with the family and, of course, Nigerians generally, because we look at what she had done, as a woman. I don't know her so intimately, but I know that she was also close to my late dad, the Nasima family, because he also was a one-time vice president, and I know he worked, with her, because, at home, you'll always hear Alaba Lawson, and I know she did quite a lot, the Nasima family. And then when you look at the fact that she's an educationist. She opened up, schools, and that's why you say group of schools, Alaba Nursing School and all that, and you can imagine how many people have passed through that school, in terms of children that have passed through that school, and they are making great waves in the nation. And you can also imagine how many people she employed, and teaching and non-teaching staff. She has created, jobs, for the people. She has actually contributed also to the GDP of the country. And then, of course, all the empowerment schemes that she got involved in, everything that has to do with women. And of course, when you look at politics, yes, I want to believe that she played it well, well, I don't know. Politics, depending on where you stand. Yeah, but I think she has been fair. And then, of course, this I can also say that she stands with people. She stands with people. If she knows that this is what she wants, she will stand with you. Because I know she had done one or two things that I heard about, even with the royal titles, how she was able to stand, with people. So we give it to her, we celebrate her even in death. And she deserves what the governor wants to do. She deserves it, because when you write the history of great women, great women, I know her name will come. Yes, we're talking about Ogun State. You talk about Ransom Kuti, Fumilayo Ransom Kuti, and then you talk about, some names, like I was in Uyo last week, and we went to see the place where the Aba riot, where Mr. Hunter, I now know the person who fired the guns. That our people, that 500 women died. It was Mr. Hunter. I visited his place. And of course, we went to the site, the river where some of them actually fell. I mean, the names of the women, come out, they stand. And it's great. I mean, these are people who fought, for women, and that's why some of us can have, this liberty we have. So I know that when they also want to write the history of women in Ogun State, I mean, Alabalos will stand out first, and then when you come to Nasima, because she was the first, I think she was the first female
president.
Yes, the first female president, of the council, and then she established the microfinance bank, Aberystone Microfinance Bank, to boost SME, and she did quite a lot. She did quite a lot. I mean, if our past president, General Olusegun Obasanjo, could say she was a no-nonsense, hardworking woman, you can say, because she was. I mean, for her to have walked through, become the first female president of Nasima, and then of course all the things that she has done, that yes, she was a no-nonsense, hardworking woman, and we give it to her, we celebrate her, and we can only pray that the legacies, will live on. I want to believe that she would have handled the bit of the succession plan. So I want to believe that all the schools will thrive and will even do more. Not that they will be depleting, but they will do more, and leave some legacies. Nothing even stops them from building a small museum, or a small library in our favor, where people can actually know the history, the history of things. Like I told you, we visited the amalgamation house, and I was shocked. It was dilapidated, but thankfully, we understand that the new governor is ready to renovate the whole place and make it really, really look good. So I expect that of the children of Alaba Lawson, so that people will get to know who is this Alaba Lawson, like you were mentioning, that who is this Alaba Lawson. And truly, these are times that we need to write our story. These are times that we Nigerians will write your story. I don't know if she wrote a book. I can't say. I don't have an authority on that. But peradventure she did not. This is the time for her her children, to come up with a book about her and all the things she has done, particularly how she impacted, because people need to know. So all these people that are already celebrating her, they need to come together and begin to write the story. It's not for anything, but people should get to know what these people have done. It's not just for us to copy the bad things in the advanced world. We are very quick to copy bad things, but when we see good things, we don't. I mean, people leave legacies. They even leave endowment funds. They leave trustees, and they would say that the money being gathered should continue this charity, should continue this. We need to see more of that. What stops the children, apart from education, also the skill empowerment that she has done, set up skill empowerment centers and things like that, so that the name continues generations, because she had worked for it, and we salute her. We salute her because talking about politics, she was there. Talking about education, she was there. I mean, you could actually say that she was one of the women leaders in Nigeria, and I think that's why we in WFM are celebrating her. So we celebrate her in death, and we commiserate with the family, and also with the nation. So it's not just with the state, so also with the nation and then the Nasima family. Thank you.
Of course, this is something that is national, really. And when you look at the impact that Yalo Dialaba Lawson, actually, the legacy that she left behind, you know that it cuts across just Ogun State alone. It's nationwide, different organizations and different people who have come in contact with her. And you can tell that when it comes to women involvement in nation building, there is a whole lot that we need to do to ensure that women are able to harness their potentials, because there's a lot that women can give. I was listening to you talk about Uyo, talk about the about women's rights. There are a lot of things that women in the past have done that are not well documented. I think sometime last week I was talking to a colleague about Fumilayo Rasom Kuti and how all of her story was streamlined to the first woman to ride a car and stuff like that. Meanwhile, there were so many other things that she did that people are not well informed about. Why are we intentionally downplaying the effort and the contributions of women in our society? Why are we doing that? We want to see more documentation of these women. Let people do more in talking about them, because at the end of the day, it is easier for people to say, oh, what would the girl child do, what would the woman do? But if you look back in the family system, a lot of things that actually happens come from the contributions of the female child, even in the society. But if they're not well documented, how do we give the young ones, how do we tell them that there's a blueprint that you can actually follow? There are women who have gone ahead of you and you can actually be better and bigger than them.
Absolutely.
So we really need to do a lot. We really need to do a whole lot in ensuring that our history, they're properly documented, and people can always go back.
Yeah.
To them.
And that is why the emphasis on history has to come. I know they had made a statement that history will come. There was a day we were talking to some there were a secondary school age. We're talking about the founding fathers. We're talking about great people that had shaped Nigeria, the general history. And we showed pictures of people and we told them to identify. They could not identify Margaret Eko.
You can see.
Who is this woman? We say, who is this woman? So it's time we bring them back. If you talk about women, some people don't even know. They don't know.
Some people probably never heard about it.
Exactly. I mean, you talk about, now thankfully, this Nollywood man, what's his name now? Came did the movie for Amina. And I believe that is why some people will get to know who Amina is. A female warrior. from the north. So it's time to tell our story. It's time to tell our story. And we can only request that their families, they still have descendants. They are the ones to champion this. Champion this, write the story, write the book, do a movie about it. Now we know about Amina. We need to know about. Yes, I know there was a Femi Kuti, Fumilayo Ransom Kuti, like a story that I think Falahon had done. I think had sung about it, and I know there was a story. There is a movie around there about women. I've forgotten the name of the book, but
I'm not sure I've seen that.
We need more. We need more of this. So the book must come alive. And then the films, the movies concerning them must come alive, and they must be in the right context. They should not change the flavor, but the right context, so we understand. Up to today, we are still watching the men that built America. Today, we still watch it. It's still a great movie that people are watching. So, what about the female, the male, the female, or rather the men and the women, that have something to that shaped Nigeria where we are. You can imagine when people don't even know Obafemi, Awolowo, Awolowo, Azikiwe. You understand? They don't know even the war we are talking about. How many people know about the war in Nigeria? Yes, I know it's a bitter taste, but people need to know, because it brings about, a restoration, a wholeness. Rwanda had done it, So we need to get to that point to where we need to tell our stories. Yes, I mean, where we need to say we are sorry, we have to say it, and we move on. But people need to hear that story. So I want to challenge, the family of the Lawson. I mean, they need to put a book together, a compendium together, and talk about her life. There was a day I was watching. In fact, I've forgotten the name of the family. They did a story concerning it was their mom. And it was at the end of the day that I actually know that it was a story about their mom. Talking about depression and things like that. And it was the story of their mom. So they need to do that. What that will do will spur some people up that if this person can actually do it, why can't I do it? And it will open the mind for people that there is so much more that we can do to develop our nation. So it's not an issue of what can my nation do for me. It's going to be a nation of what can I do for my nation. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Buki, I really like how this conversation has gone. So away from what we are doing in the now or what you expect that the nation or the society gets to do for you, what are you doing for the society in return? So when we talk about late Chief Mrs. Alaba Lawson, I'm going to incorporate this conversation. So over the weekend, this one caused a lot of controversy on social media as to if women should work or women shouldn't work. And a particular personality made a post, and I'm going to read this post out so that we have a clear understanding, so we're not taking it in bits. This post reads, I don't think that women should do 9-to-5 jobs like men do. I do not think that women are built to work like men. I think that the traditional method of men working while their wives are stay-at-home mothers is more sustainable for the society. I'll put a spin on it. Women should have hobbies and businesses they can do from their homes. Most women would not do a 9-to-5 if they had another sustainable option. Doing a 9-to-5 job with the hormonal changes women experience is crazy. And this person went ahead to say, feminism is here to liberate you, so congrats. And the person goes ahead to say, whenever being a housewife/stay-at-home mother is placed side by side with being a working professional, many women wear out being states that stay-at-home mom is a waste of education. Why go to school when you want to stay at home? Then you need intense education to be a great stay-at-home mom. If you're going to be spending more time with the kids, you should be a knowledge tank. How would you school the kids if you're uneducated? Besides, being resourceful at home requires a lot of knowledge. Intelligent children who were homeschooled often have brilliant parents. Being a stay-at-home mom is not a waste of education. It is a different kind of usefulness. Buki, So, I intentionally read out the whole of this post so that we have a clear understanding as to the comment that this person has made and wherever your side is going to be on, and this is for the audience as well, you know where to pitch your tent. So, if we're mentioning the names of women who have contributed a whole lot in the society, now, one thing I like to say is I am very pro-choice. If you, as a person, as a woman, you decide that being a stay-at-home aligns with my values, aligns with what I set out to achieve, and the circumstances around your life permit for you to be a stay-at-home mom, great, amazing. If you know that from inception what you've wanted for your life is to be a professional high flyer, to be everywhere and everywhere, making impact and impacting the lives of others and actually doing a lot of stuff, if that is you, then that is actually fine. But one thing is, in recent times, we get to see a lot of men being in the businesses of women. And I really do not understand it, because how are you trying to be more woman than I, the woman, can be? Today, somebody comes to tell us, oh, women should not work because women do not have the emotional intelligence to handle workplace politics, or they cannot be in the corporate sectors, blah, 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 and all of that. That's one hand. Tomorrow, another conversation will come up on social media. Somebody is telling us about how a lot of young girls don't want to work, how they only want to bring their bodies to the table, and different conversation. What exactly do you people want? That's the point. What exactly do you want? Because these conversations are so divisive in the way that everybody just wants to talk about women. What happened to us actually bringing all of this energy into nation building and talking about the issues that matter? But no, every market day, everybody wants to talk about a woman. Everybody wants to talk about what a woman should wear, how a woman should be, and what they ought to do. We're talking about Yellow Dialaba Lawson. If she had decided not to do anything extra and just sit in her comfort zone, maybe we probably would not be talking about her the way we are doing so. Not to say that there's so many other women in different communities doing their bit and lending their quota to nation growth and development. But somebody just thinks that because they have access to the internet and what have you. And what pains me in all of this is the fact that there's so many people out there who are impressionable. Because somebody makes a comment, you think that's the whole of the existence, and you take it and implement it in your life. People need to understand that in as much as we have a lot of information out there on the internet, on social media, people need to understand for themselves what they really want.
Yeah, I share your views. And let us even go back to creation, because I always like to go back to creation. And I believe that when God made man, after a while, when he saw the way man was going, and that it wasn't that he made a mistake. No, he knows exactly what he was doing, trying to. And I think it's even because of us, for us to know and put things in perspective. And he said, look, this man alone cannot survive. Needs a partner. And more so in terms of procreation, you need a partner to procreate. I mean, if you had done that for seeds, for plants, you have the male variety, you have the female variety. So, yes, man, we've got to do it for the man. And that's why I say outside of family institution, in fact, that is the only time that, the Bible records an institution. Outside of that, it's a same human being, same brain, got the two legs, got the two eyes, everything, So it's an issue of our brain still functions. So what a man really can do in terms of administration, organization, execution, or whatever it is, hey, if a woman who desires to have that kind of profile, she'll go for it. And that's why we say, hey, don't resist anybody. But when it now comes to family institution, where the mother now, the lady now has to bring in the woman, so this is where the roles now have to be defined more. Because somebody has to mold the children. The father also has his own duty to mold the children. So it's not an issue or is a woman. No, it is not the woman, it's both. Everybody has to play their part in it. And that's why we say in WFM that now looking at the things that are happening now in the nation, in the world, it's not even just Nigeria, in the world, seasons have changed. In those days, even in Britain or whatever that we're trying to copy, the women stay at home. They take care of their husbands. The husbands go out. Those that are politicians, those that are hunters, whatever it is, they go out. And they come in. So even if the woman will help, just maybe a little things, and then back here, even in our culture, the men, they are depending on the culture now, because I know some cultures also, the women work, but majority of our culture, it is the man that goes out, and then the woman stays at home, to take care of the home. But now let's look at the society. Let's look at, modernization. Let's look at the standard of living. I know some men that will still say, what, this period of childbearing, I want you to stay. I can afford it. But we now find out that the cost of living, one person cannot afford it. I was talking to, was it someone who helps people to get houses, and he was saying that a mini flat or a 2-bedroom flat goes close to about $1 million. And I said, how do you expect people to marry? So that means both of them must have money more than $1 million, because if $1 million is just rent, you understand? And I'm not even talking about Iglekio.
You're not talking about the highbrow. Yes, I know.
Highbrow. So the issue is, then what will now happen? So that is why you find out that women are picking up roles. And right now, I don't have the statistics, so nobody should ask me for the statistics. But people that are surrounding me, it looks more like the woman is the one that is placing the things on the table. When it comes to who is the breadwinner, you understand? It looks as if it's a woman. But so most of them will not talk, but when you get closer to them and they can open up to you, you hear them tell stories. And some of them will say, well, my husband brings 25%, I bring 75%. Some will say, okay, my husband does 50, I bring 50. But the story is changing. And that is where, when you now want to go into this family institution, we advise that both of you sit down and talk. What will work for you might not work for somebody else. So you have to talk together and say, okay, what are the options on the table? Which one works? So you pick the one that works for you. So if both of you have to go to work, then you probably have to find out that what exactly are we working for? Is it to leave the children behind and have a lot of money, and at the end of the day we now come back to have children that are into pornography, children that are into drugs and things like that, because we were not there for them. We advise that at least, even if that, you need to consider, particularly when you are having your children. So yes, it is more for the mother, because the mother has a motherly instinct, but also the father has to be present. The father has to be present. So it's both. So even if the mother is there Monday to Friday, you should be there as a father Saturday and Sunday. You should make it, because where we are going now, it is not an issue of the mother. It is an issue of both parents have to stay with the children. So depending on where you come from, your perspective, you can say, oh, ladies should not work 9 to 5. Okay, if the ladies do not work, how do they meet the needs? Particularly when the man is not man enough. I know some men are trying based on their work. You understand? They're trying to ensure that their family has the best. But we also know about some men that they're not even doing anything. They believe that, okay, sure, you go and work now and bring the money home. So how will the woman survive? And already you have already entered into a marriage institution. So how do you want to survive? So women will have to work, but they now need to balance it up. They now need to, but they need to know where to relax. They need to know when to up their game. And then, of course, at this point in time, they don't need to compete. I think that is the issue that most families have. People begin to compete. Oh, this one, because we work together, we earn the same salary, we are colleagues at work. Okay, because the daughter goes to this X school, my daughter must go to. No, you can't do that. You've got to look at your own income, family income. What is best we can do? So I think it's more of competing. You don't need to compete. You would not use somebody's wristwatch to know the time. Look at your own wristwatch. I mean, you can't say because he's doing this, the children go for summer every year. So your own children, but you cannot even afford it. You don't know, maybe their grandfather somewhere has invested money and the money is yielding. You don't know, maybe the husband has some work that is earning money. I mean, he's at home, but he's earning money. You don't know. So why don't you just face your own income? So I think it's more of that. Look at what is in your own hand and use what is your own hand for your life. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Buki. Really. I think this is just about it. People being able to understand, looking at their situations and what exactly works for them. So that's it. If you want to be a stay-at-home mom, you just want to fend for your family and just do right by your family, that's totally fine. Don't let anybody put any pressure on you as to what you want to change your values or what you believe in. No. And if you want to be a high flyer, you want to go all out and show up at every single event, that is totally fine as well, as long as it is your personal conviction. It is not what anybody has forced you to be. It's not anybody boxing you into this is where you ought to be. Then it's totally fine as long as it's coming from you to you. 23 minutes to 10 on Women Radio 91.7, and this is Panorama. Panorama is where we have the ladies from different geopolitical zones come together to discuss, dissect, and disagree on topical issues. The phone lines are open 07000 917 917, or you can send us a text or a WhatsApp message 070 565 to be a part of the conversation right here. So, still talking about family issues and women. Really, people really be talking about women a lot. Everybody suddenly wants to be a woman. Everybody wants to tell a woman how to act and how to behave. So this next one we're going to be talking about, Buki, is a post that somebody made and said that this is in reaction to so there was this video that went viral over the weekend about a woman who Buki, I'm sure you've seen that video, about a woman whose husband left her stranded, messed with her self-esteem and all. So we're coming back to that one if we're able to talk about the video. But this one here is an offshoot of that video. This person was saying that do not buy things that you know that your husband cannot afford to buy for you. If you need them, find a way to make him feel like he's the one paying for them. In quote, this person made this statement in a quote. I like this phone. Can I borrow you some money so you can add yours when you have the money to buy it for me? And this person thinks that that's the end. In other words, let me paint a more realistic picture. Me, Esther, I want a phone. I would give the money to my husband, or give him maybe a lump sum of the money and give to him and tell him, oh, I think I want this phone, but this is the money I have. I would like for you to add what you have and buy it for me. Then when he brings the phone out, I'll be very, very, like, I'll be over the thank you so much. And when people ask me, oh, my husband bought me the phone, and you will gladly also tell people that you bought your wife the phone. See, sometimes when we make certain comments, I don't know how, you know, when you say something sometimes and you are having to think about it, like, this thing that I said, how did it really sound? I'm not sure a lot of us do that. Maybe if we do that, we'll have less and less of this kind of comment. Because if every single time, I'm sure that you know this one, that a lot of women in the homes are the ones funding some things that we think the men are doing. But absolutely, because of the society that we live in, no, not a lot of women want to boldly come out and say, oh, their husbands are having financial downtimes and they're the one actually catering to a lot of things in the family. So they rather just act like everything is well. Now, there are some men who actually understand this and actually give credit to these women and ensure that when they are back on their feet, they do right by this woman. But there are some other men on the other side of the divide who actually take advantage, undue advantage of these women, and decide not to do anything meaningful with their own lives, thereby putting all of the responsibilities on this woman. I don't know how, but I don't know, whatever works for your family. But having to say that you should not buy what your husband cannot afford as a woman, I don't think this is a good advice for women, Buki.
Okay, so the context is this, which I believe is God ordained. When it comes to family institution, it does not matter who brings the higher income. It is a family. God sees you as one. So it's for both of you to operate with integrity, honesty, accountability, responsibility, and love. You know, you must see it as family income, even if you don't have a joint account. That is why I find that some women, they do most of the things, but they don't even tell people outside. It's only probably when you get close to them or something, or you get to know that they are the ones issuing the money, and they get to know that, oh, they're the ones funding it or something. They don't have to tell anybody. That's the truth. And even in such instances, I know a man must always have ego. You understand? This is where the man will now have to use wisdom. You know, leave your ego behind. Leave it. It will paralyze things. You need to now appreciate, because ideally, you are the one that is supposed to put these things on the table. But thankfully, God blessed you with a woman who has probably opportunity to earn more. You know, there are some that do salary work, the men do salary work. But when you come to the woman who does the business, she earns more. So she's able to provide more comfort to the family, which you, as the man, is also enjoying. You understand? So, but the issue is, learn to appreciate that woman that is doing it, and don't use ego all the time. You understand? Learn to appreciate. And even when the woman does things, and probably you're in the whatever of your friends or whatever it is, oh, she was one who did it. I mean, it's not all the time you would say that, but you give credit to the woman, because we also love to be appreciated. I mean, that's it. I mean, when we're doing more, we love to be appreciated, not pull us down. You know, so, but in a case where the woman wants something and she knows that the husband cannot afford it. So I want to put it in context. If the woman is the one, you know, putting things on the table, and you love the thing, excuse me, why don't you go for it? But if both of you are contributing, and for instance, everything is balanced, and you love a particular bag, and it's an expensive bag, and you know your husband cannot afford it, and there's no urgent need in the house, you love it because you just want to have it. Hey, it's just an issue of conversation. Oh, honey, that bag, I would love to have it. So one of these days, I would save, you know, to have that bag. Or one of these days, I would actually buy that bag because I want it. A good husband that his head is sitting is correctly, you know, will know that what that wife is saying is that, hey, I want this bag, and if you don't mind, yes, you can, but I don't, you know, you don't have the money, so I'm not putting pressure on you. I will buy it myself. So it's an issue of, okay, you want to buy the bag, okay, that's fine. So maybe the next one say, okay, you know, I might not give you all, but this is what I have, you know, in addition, you know, to what you want to put in. A good man would do that. And even if the man does not even have money, a good man will say, oh, okay, that's lovely, you deserve it. You know, the man will, oh, you deserve it. I'm supposed to do this for you, but you deserve it. But trust me, I will pay you back anytime. It could be anytime. You understand? So it depends on the energy flow, the communication flow between between both partners. That's the truth. We cannot all box everything in one. So it depends on how you are intimate with your husband and how the communication goes and the understanding between both of you. I know some families that whatever the woman wants to do is fine. It's your money. It don't even concern the man. And the man is still the one putting things down because, well, I might not be able to meet all her needs. And once I know that she's not the person that just spends on in a lavish manner that is reckless. I mean, if she's okay, I mean she's reasonable, and she wants to upgrade her standard of and she can afford it. Not that there is no money and then she's now pressurizing everybody, or she's now taking loans, to have a false standard of living. That is a no, 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 no. But if she can afford it, hey, why not? You know, well, I don't subscribe, but if that is the way both of them want it, we are not here to say you must you must do it the way we want. We are only exposing our own thoughts, our own perceptions, what we have seen that has worked, and what we have seen that has not worked. I really do not, personally, I would not really subscribe, to the fact that you want to buy something and then you now give the money to your husband. Your husband will now go and buy it. And then no, I don't subscribe to that. But I also know that to give, when it comes to the children, to give a little bit of context to it, whereby the children grow up to know that it's both parents that have done it. Even for school fees, at times it's the mom that will actually, in the days of drafts, the mother issues the draft and gives it to the father. And then the father goes to pay. Concerning anybody if it's the mother or the father. It's the family economy now. You understand? When it comes to the children, I think that is where there has to be a little bit of balance because, children are very, very funny. Say, but daddy, you don't have money now. It's mommy that is doing everything. No. Even at that point, when you are grooming them, you don't need to begin to say such things. You understand? Let them know it's both of you, parents. Both of you, that are doing. I mean, you need to let them know. But in the case where it's okay, yeah, it's your dad. Go and meet your dad. And of course, the dad knows that, hey, I don't have the money. And the dad will say, okay, don't worry. We will settle it. We will settle it. So that they will know that it's both. And then, of course, the dad will now know how to talk to the mother. Oh, boy, your children say they want this, so how you go do them? Don't worry. We go run them. You understand? And at the end of the day, somebody brings it home and they thank both parents. They thank God because they don't even know who did it. Later on, maybe when they're now old, they can now begin to understand things, and then they have seen you do it. Like there was a friend who said, "Now I understand what my mom was going through. Now I understand quite a lot of things because apparently it was the mom. The father was a school teacher.
Okay.
The mother was the one who was doing the business. Well, all the time they felt it was the dad. So now she now says she now understands. She now values the mom more because for her it was that mom is just working, nothing. You understand? But she now understands because when the mother was when she was now going into marriage, the mother now had to tell her, well, some things happen. I'm not saying this will happen, but some things happen, but you now need to know how to balance things up and all that.
All right.
So she now gets the mom. So these are things that we need to guard against. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Buki, for actually having to elaborate on this because this one, when I first saw it didn't make any sense to me why I should put money together and give to my husband so he can act as though he bought whatever it is for me. Me, I will not do it sharp. I don't know. But I won't. It doesn't just make any sense. There's so many ways to actually communicate with your partner as to the finances in the home and not some kind of charade that makes it look like you have to hold that position of head of the house. No, not that. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling us from?
I'm Joshua. I'm calling from Maripo here.
Joshua.
Yes, I'm calling from Maripo.
All right. Good morning.
Good morning. This conversation, I think the one that hits me well is the profiling, the belief profiling that tends to separate more than unite us. And I think until we get to the root of the problem, we might not really solve it. We are still pretending that nothing has changed. When I was in my younger days, the first lady to access higher education was widely celebrated in my place. So I still woke up to seeing when ladies started accessing education. And now that change has come to stay. Before, it was educate the male alone, leave the female behind. Nobody does that any longer. Every child has equal access to education. So how are you now going to determine who is the head or who is the bottom? The point is now it depends on the financial capacity of the individual families. Some families are more well-to-do and they have female children, so the female children have access to education and they are empowered. Now you are still enforcing a moribund system that says that the man is the head of the home. Who is the head of the home? We live in denial instead of accepting certain changes that have come to us. The fact that two partners are, one is financially buoyant doesn't mean that the other one is invalid or not contributing. But if the man is the one that is at home, what do we do, as it were? Being at home doesn't mean you are idle. Being at home doesn't mean you are not valuable.
Yep.
So we have to find what the individual has capacity to produce.
Okay.
And then we tag that as the strength of the individual. But this insistence that the man must be the head of the home will continue to rule us. If you change the narrative,
All right.
if it is the woman that is producing the wealth, I mean, who are we to deny that?
All right, thank you so much, Joshua, for your comment. And I'm actually glad that this is coming from a man in this age and time. For a man to actually be saying this, that it's not just about holding on to the position of head of the house. Who is doing what? And that's why sometimes when you see a lot of women who are stay-at-home moms, people don't get to appreciate the work and the contribution that they bring to the family, because there's a lot of work in the informal sector. If you ask me to be at work all day, I'd rather be at work all day than stay at home all day and clean, cook and everything, because it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work, but people will just come back and ask you, what have you been doing all day? But you've been slaving away. You've been doing a lot of work, but people do not recognize it or celebrate it as contribution to the family because it's not the monetary value. So we need to have a change of mind really for us to be able to appreciate women and people who do these different things in ensuring that the family system works in different ways. Thank you so much, Buki, for being on the program today.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
All right, thank you. Do have a good day. And there we have it. It's a wrap on Panorama today. Do well to join us again tomorrow at 9:05 as we get to discuss, accept, and disagree on topical issues. My name is Esther Alaribi, and truly, this conversation has been one eye-opening one to hear that a man thinks that it's not just about holding the position of head of house or calling yourself the head of the family. What exactly do you bring to the table? Maybe that's what you want to take out and think about this morning. Good morning. Up next is Radio Doctor.
To sponsor this program, call the number 0816 480 7613.
WFM 91.7.